Yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AJC. It is match day. Sassuolo, the next victim. Hopefully so. Let's go and let's make it so. Alberto here, and I got my man Omer with me. Omer, how you doing today, brother?
All good. All good. I'm ready for the match.
Beautiful, beautiful. I've been waiting
Yeah.
for this one. Well, since the last one ended, I'm ready to go. But like Mark
Feels like
says, you know,
forever. Feels like forever with the Champions League in the middle.
yeah, it does.
Everyone got to play.
When we're not a part of it, it does feel like it's been forever. And, a week apart, yeah, it feels like a long time. Mark saying, good morning, boys. Slow and steady today. Another 3 points that start to regain that confidence and dominance. We got Tony Trim with us. Let's get lit up for today. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get pumped up. RB Comps is cooking time. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Allegri, please keep cooking. Cook up this Scudetto. All right, we're going to have some fun here and talk about, well, there's never a shortage of topics to discuss around Juventus. Today is no different. Rumor mill, news, just everything in between. And then, of course, taking a look at our opponent, Sassuolo, taking a look at what to expect in this matchup. And keeping in mind, we have a short turnaround against Lecce, set to face them on Tuesday. I'll also remind everybody, I'm going to be bringing a live watch along for this game today. All right, so hope to see you all there with me, and let's share the live reactions together. Omer, as far as the news ripping up today, why don't you give us today's, and then we'll kind of discuss that a bit. We'll get into some of the stuff throughout the week as well.
Okay, so Nicolas Skira is reporting that Juve are making their way into re-signing Iling Jr. With a contract extension till 2027. So I actually hope that happens. Juve are doing good stuff with the youngsters. Berardi's name coming up again. Juve won't pay more than 15 million. McKennie was almost out of Juve. There was a lot of interest from the EPL, but they said that they want to keep him. Max mainly wanted to keep him and kind of tried him out in the new role that so far works out for the best. And beyond that, not a whole lot. There's still an interview by Dean Hoysen's son that we had to put out. But just the regular rumor mill, no new names, and basically gearing up for the game.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we got a little bit more on the rumor mill. I had to crush some dreams, I think, with the Kefren Turam thing in January, because I just don't see it happening financially, even with if a Paul Pogba was to turn and get terminated and whatnot. I still don't see it happening. And the 30 million euro report yesterday, the last time Thuram was actually legitimately almost purchased, Liverpool had to come in with 40 to 45 million. Not only that, apparently his wage demands were extremely high. Around 8 million pounds, okay, is what he was after. If it's anywhere even in that vicinity and not 8 million pounds, that's quite a bit. And I just don't see it happening this year. In the summer, potentially. But I just don't see it happening for this season. Are you on the same wavelength with me on that one?
Yeah, because Nice are doing great. I mean, they're first in the league and they already beat who was it, Paris Saint-Germain and Marseille, the top two contenders. So they're having a good season so far, and if they keep it up, I don't see him giving up one of their stars. I mean, he's one of their highly rated players overall. So I don't see him let him go in June, but Juve can negotiate in June of a possible summer sale. We'll have to wait. I don't know the way things are with Thuram and his brother playing at Inter. I don't know if his father would push him towards Serie A. And if Liverpool come in or anyone, I assume he'll go there. But I really want to see him at Juve.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, obviously, we all want to see Kefren Turam. There's other midfielders that would be interesting too, but I think for this year, I think that's it, and I think we're locked in. And I've been saying this for a while. I just don't see anything happening in the winter mercado. to be honest.
Yeah, and one of the rumors was that Iling is going to be diverted into the midfield more because Kostic and Cambiaso both had like strong starts for the season, and now Pogba is out, so Allegri is aiming for him to play more in the middle this season if everyone is healthy.
Yeah. And we do have to talk about Iling Jr. in general, but as far like with Taram,
Yes.
that's essentially it. Yes, there you go. That's essentially it. That's essentially it with Taram. I just don't see it. If we are coming out of a summer mercado where we literally only made one maneuver, and that was for Weah coming in, other than reintegrating some young players and everything, I just don't see anything happening in the winter. That's just me. But stranger things have happened. I also didn't expect us to swoop in and steal Bremer from Inter. I also didn't expect Vlahovic to come in the winter mercado when he arrived. So who really knows? We'll have to wait and see. Iling Jr. now. We got to get to Iling Jr. So, if you guys checked out that little recording session, that collaboration with Ale from Bianconeri Zone and myself, we're looking to do that. Thanks for all the positive words, and everybody seemed to really enjoy it. We're going to be trying to do that a little more regular. It's just tough with the time difference and everything for us to line up, but we are going to try and look at doing that, and we'll be splitting the shows across the channels. Now, we got into a discussion about Iling Jr., and I said we may have an issue there. And as far as it goes with Juventus, trying to get a contract, but having him on the outskirts right now, it's probably going to provide a little bit of a difficulty. And if all of a sudden our idea is to get him out of position, because my idea was if you can't get him in as a wingback, I think he can offer a bit of a changeup to Chiesa when Chiesa does sub. And we got to be honest here. Chiesa is going to be playing like 75 plus minutes since we're only in one competition. He's going to be the go-to. I have no problem with doing that, but we might have an issue here with Iling Jr. if we can't get him in the rotation and trying to land this extension, don't you think?
Um, First of all, I would like to see him as vice Chiesa. I think he can do a good job there, and but I can also see him as like a replacement for Miretti and what Miretti does when he plays. Because we have heard recently that Fagioli has been tried out in the Locatelli role more. So if these guys need rotations and Ealing, I I don't know about his defensive capabilities, but moving into tight spaces, dribbling, from what we've seen so far, I think he can do that job as well as Miretti. Maybe a bit more rough around the edges, but still, I can see him do that. And with the absence of Pogba, that's like what you were aiming for.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be Pogba's role. Maybe Ealing can do it.
Yeah. And then still, if I'm looking at this midfield and we want to do that, and we're still pushing for this with Iling Jr. on this Metsala thing, it's for me, you're taking away too many positives from the player to try and get him into that role. To me,
Yeah,
to
I
me,
agree, but
like
I'd
the
rather he
switch up
play.
with Chiesa makes sense. So this whole 4-3-3 thing, and I think we all got to keep in mind one thing with this testing of 4-3-3 and everything. The clarification that came out after when talking to these guys that are at sessions, okay, like Romeo, like Mirko, etc. The 3-5-2 was played with our main against guys that are probably going to be on the outs of the starting lineup as they form the 4-3-3 to try and simulate Sassuolo's play. So we have to take all of this with a grain of salt too. We saw Iling Jr. in the Metsala role through preseason and whatnot a couple times, but when it came to getting him into the game the last time, it was against Bologna and it was at left wing back. So I still expect him to be used in that role. We do have a short turnaround with Lecce. Maybe Max might surprise us in one of these games, but what I expect at the fullback is one safe fullback, wingback, and the other that's more of a bomber. And I think that's why he's going to split. Based on the projection today, it says everything the same as Lazio, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a change. But Iling Jr.,
Look, I
we got to get him some
I,
minutes, man.
I just yes. So that's why I say maybe the Miretti role because I'd rather him play anywhere than not play at all. And I honestly don't, because we have seen everyone replace Chiesa so far. All our attack, we've seen Milik, Keane, and Yildiz coming in for Chiesa. So if we're adding Iling to that list, if Chiesa stays healthy, he'll see no minutes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Anywhere in that midfield for him, I think we're taking away some strong qualities with Illing. But we have to figure something out. I think we all agree across the board. I haven't seen anyone that's contradicted this or debated it that we gotta keep this talent around. Like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
yeah. So
That's why they're extending. So they are aiming to play him.
I
I
just
mean,
don't
they're in
know if
no
they're gonna
rush.
get that extension. Is what I'm saying. Like
Oh,
with the
that's a
amount of interest
possibility.
he has, I think it's gonna be difficult. I think they're gonna have to figure something out. But we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe they're building for it. Maybe they're telling him just bide your time for one season. Kostic maybe out next season. Maybe Cambiaso is sold. I mean, a lot can happen. Just hang
Yeah.
in there for one season.
Well,
It's fine if they're saying that.
we'll have to see. We'll have to see what gets going here. I got an interesting stat too in regards to Vlahovic. When we start breaking down this game and looking at it, yeah, Vlahovic could set history for Juventus today. Okay, we'll talk about that when we get into it. So there is a celebration of the sort, obviously, with the 100-year anniversary of the Agnellis and the ownership of Juventus and everything. There was a list of names put out, okay, for this event and everything. Conte was up there. Some of the comments that came in our main, I'm sure you've seen, Omer, were saying, Conte, the Inter coach, get rid of him and whatnot. So we're going to talk about this real briefly, but how do you feel, Conte, coming back for these celebrations, starting to be around the stadium more? How do you feel about it? Has it changed anything with you and Conte?
No, no, but I remember him as captain. It's different. A lot of the younger generation remember Antonio Conte, the coach,
Yeah,
who's been here for 3 years, and that's it. If you have watched him play for Juve and you have adored him as a player at some point, then it's not that easy to let go of him because he went to Inter. I get that managers need jobs, and Inter came in and he went there. I mean, he had to. That's what managers do all the time. It's not the same as players. So I remember him as captain. It's very hard for me to just let go. He's a club legend as a player,
yeah.
definitely.
That's the thing. Is you nailed it on the head. I think when you have, fans that have come in only seeing him as the coach, and then that you don't you're missing out a huge part of the history between Conte and Juventus. And for me, I've always said the head office roles and all that don't affect, and it never affected me with Pavel Nedved. It sure as hell is not going to affect me with Conte, but I can separate what happened as a player and what goes on in a head office role and all that for me. So I have no problems with him being around there. Furthermore, I brought up a little theory I have, okay? And this was just, again, going back to everything I was hearing, all the word on the street, so to speak, from Turin. Obviously, with Conte being there, his wife owns a boutique in Turin. His family's there. He's there. He's going to be around more, okay? But I also have this feeling and just the vibes I'm getting from Max Allegri and just this whole different scenario. Conte apparently had a job interview and everything, and he's very close with Calvo and Giuntoli. I actually think, regardless of what happens at the end of the season, I actually think Max Allegri walks away. And I would peg, and like I was hearing, like the word on the street, there was two guys that it came down to, and it was Spalletti and Conte. We know where one of those guys has gone. I have a sneaking suspicion come the end of the year, no matter what happens, I think Max Allegri walks away. And I think he's going to walk away on top.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling too. I know there were some reports that this is his last year. I mean, if this season doesn't go well, he'd be a madman to stay for another one for
Yeah.
his personal sake. And he has done what he can in 3 out of the 4 years contract. I mean, it's fine. It's no shame. It just didn't go the way it was planned, but it could end up, on a high note, and will be fine, and he'll leave, with his head held high after that weird, let's say, second tenure of him. And then I do see Conte lining up. I mean, there are no offers. There are no rumors about Conte. But how about Spalletti visiting Continassa, talking to Allegri, to the players? That also happened this week.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, Animesh. No. No 10 shirt bets, but there were a bunch more kits ordered. Okay, just the other day that once they arrive, we'll start going on more of the giveaways. One so far has been given away out of the 10 that have to go away this year because I am man of my word. But with Allegri, we've got Dom saying walking away from that salary. I don't see it. Hey, he even confirmed the interest out of Saudi Arabia. Like, Max is going to find work. Like, I think for him, the biggest thing, he could have walked away this season and made more money, but he didn't. For me, this is an ego thing. This is making things right. This is going out, not wanting to go out in that manner. For me, is the biggest thing I see, and I actually could see it. If Juve gets the job done, hoist a trophy, and even if they don't, even if they get back Champions League, get top two, whatever, I actually think he's gonna walk away no matter what at the end of the year. That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, there's a full season ahead to judge and rejudge that specific topic, because a lot of things are going to happen. We have no idea what's coming. So I feel like that now it might change next week.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The season could go incredibly well, and he's like, no, let's keep it rolling. Who knows? Who knows? But I get
Yeah.
these vibes. He wants to go out and not leave Juve in a certain manner. That's just me. Speaking of certain, hypotheticals and all this and whatnot, some Juventini decided to bring up the fact that De Ligt is unhappy, and we're gonna play a little what if scenario. What if De Ligt could come back to Juventus? Would you take that? I was questioned with this out of one of the official fan club groups, the great group from Vancouver, and they said, "Would you take him back?" For me, it's an easy no, but I want to get your answer, Omer.
I like the league. I still do. Um, but if he comes in, then who goes out? Either, I guess, Danilo or Gatti. If he's in the team now, is he starting? Is it? I mean, of course he is, but who's out?
I don't even get to that point in my mind, Omer.
Okay, so let's say it's like Delict, Gatti, Bremer. Yeah, great for FIFA. I don't know if they could complete a pass between them on the pitch.
Here's
But
my here's
like
my
I
thing
said,
with
I
Delict.
liked him. That's football. I like him. If he's back, I am all for it. I mean, come back, please.
Here's my thing with Delict. Okay, he was there and left at the opportunity he had to finally become the man at Juventus. And he chose to go somewhere for a better project and whatnot, in which he ended up not even be able to get into the main and now is pushed even further back, and his performances don't give him any opportunity to break in there. For me, that says enough about the character, like, that I need to know. And I got Delict's character way wrong, because when you're coming in to Juventus and we start to hear the rumblings about, okay, he needs to get in, he wants to get in, he wants to get his time, but he does want to learn the art of defending from these guys that are masters and whatnot. But when you leave at that time and you are about to get handed the keys, that tells me everything I need to know about your character and whatnot. And then to add to it, you spend your time bitching about training, about the offensive approach and whatnot. You're a defender. What are you talking about offensive approach? Like, Well, it made no sense. Like for me, it's just a no. Give me 10,000 Gattis before one Delict, and I'll be happy. I'll be a happy man.
Mentality wise, definitely. I mean, okay, that's one side, and I agree with it. We should take that into consideration. Uh, let me play devil's advocate here. He's been at you for 3 seasons. In that time, there's been COVID, three managerial changes, and I mean, everyone said we know that that first Allegri season was pretty horrible to watch or to play. He's not the only player who said it. Juve needed money. He's not Italian. I mean, look at Bayern and how they're doing, and look at Juve and where their trajectory goes after two fourth place finishes and stuff. I get why he would want to make that move and why Juve would push for it as fast as they did to lock in Bremer for the price that they did. So there are both parties there. And when he signed for Bayern, Tuchel wasn't the manager. So it's not the manager that bought him that benches him. So there are other elements to it. That's the way German coaches are. They just come in and take over the entire dressing room.
I'll give.
But still, I'll get your point, and you
I've
should
got
look at
another
both
point
sides.
about it too. Is again, and I said it, and I'll admit it. I'll fully admit it because I said I got it wrong with the Ligt, and I'm pretty sure I did. He is he's a big man when he was at Ajax and everything like that, but I think when he goes to a big club, he's hiding and he goes behind the scenes, and I just don't think he's at the caliber everybody thought. And I think when he goes to the big clubs, he starts to take a back seat and whatnot. And I think he's going to be big at Ajax, whatever, and look like that big, massive leader and whatnot. Ability wise, okay, yeah, good defender. Good defender. Had the ability, had the potential to be great. But I don't know if he'll reach it at the big clubs because I just don't
No,
think the mentality
I
is
think
there.
he will. I think he will at some point. He's been slapped with reality. Defenders are not at their best and can play to the highest level when they're 22. Let's see where he is when he's 28. What level is he playing at then when he's 30? That's the age that defenders have both the experience but still the physique to handle the top of the game. I mean, when you go through the list of the best defenders, their best years were 28 and above.
Tell,
Cannavaro won the Ballon d'Or at 33, so it's different with defenders. It's just he thought he was good enough, and he's not yet. He might be.
Delict isn't picking any Juventini up, leaving training and taking them for a ride home or whatnot. That was such a
Yeah, yeah. No, Gatti is an awesome guy. He's
Gati's
quickly a
just a
fan
beauty.
favorite.
Like this guy every day gives you another reason
Yeah.
to just love the guy even more. But the character thing, if you guys recall last season when, it was frustrating. It was frustrating for so many different reasons. But what did I say about Juventus and what we needed to get back to? For me, it's the characters. And I talked a lot last season about character signings. Juve used to do so well, not because we were having so many flashy players like back in the 90s and whatnot. It's literally because of the characters we signed that formed these great teams. And for me, Juve needs to start looking more at signing the man and who they're bringing in as opposed to just the flash in the pan. And I think if we all look back at Paratici and the work he did, it was a lot of flash. It was a lot of flash and not much substance. And I think we can all agree to that, Omer.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Ton
I
of flash.
look. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of consideration because I've listened to scouts talk on podcasts and explain what they are looking for in players when they go to watch players. And so that's like the way Juntoli works. That's how he picks up those young talents because he knows what he's looking for, specific things. And Paratici, when he was a scout, he did great. When he was a sporting director, he just went for the money. And maybe that's the difference between Gatti and Delict. When you are, let's say, overhyped at 18 and being bought for 70 million, or you're laying bricks at that age and understanding what it's like to work hard to be where you are. And that's why he's more mature even on the pitch than
Yeah.
Delict is. That's where the difference comes from. There are many bad side effects to being that famous and have that much money at 18, 19.
Yeah. Absolutely. Love this comment from Vidad, by the way. Paratici was living the dream playing FIFA in real life. Pretty
Yeah.
much, pretty much. Everybody, let's get those likes up. Please take a second, like the video, okay? We're going to get off these topics now, get to the game very quickly. However, still some outlying topics. Agnelli, the latest in the salary maneuvers case, okay? Looking positive, as I kind of said all last season. It's a lot of bullshit, everybody. Okay? But it's being reported the salary maneuvers are too closely tied to COVID. Okay? Too closely tied to COVID. All the books matched, lined up. Juve met all their financial commitments properly. Again, blown out of proportion because of who is involved. We know this. It's not news. And the sad reality is that I still find myself getting sucked into discussions online trying to friggin' educate people before they speak. And it's starting to become the same repeat phrase from me. Educate yourself first, speak second. Because it's starting to really piss me off and it's getting annoying. But this is what I talk about when I start saying Juventus needs to defend themselves more, fight back more, and push back against these media outlets and whatnot. And you have a Mercato that we just went through that saw so many moves similar to what Juventus had done when you're talking Plus Valenza and all this. Nobody's screaming scandal. It's fine. Salary maneuvers? You think Juve's the only team that did that through COVID? Absolutely not. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. But good
No,
news there with Agnelli.
you have managers and sport directors saying that in interviews, exactly that. We loaned this player to that club, but it's a done deal and he will be sold next summer. It was just to level the budget. You had one manager in the EPL, I think from Brentford or someone, he actually said that in an interview. That's literally admitting exactly what Juve did. And no one, and then comes out a report that in England, they know what City did and they can convict them, but it could jeopardize the relationship between them and the owner state. So they're kind of avoiding that. I mean, then what's the point of the rules?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's
It,
laughable at this point again.
yeah,
And that's why I just tell
it's ridiculous.
everybody educate yourselves first, speak second.
Ajax,
And yes,
Ajax, Ajax are investigating themselves because of their sporting director who sold from one company he owns to another company he owns.
I think that's a little bit different. I think there's money laundering things they're suspecting or whatnot and getting into. Yeah, that's nightmare. And yes, not FIFA anymore. EAFC and Michael Raz saying FC tournament. You know what? We could take a stab at it and we could try to get that up. I was actually spending a little time last night checking it out and whatnot. Little different layouts. The HUD's a little different. You got into the new one yet there, Omer?
No, I've just seen the videos, but I'm running through a different game now, so I'm waiting till it comes out officially and I don't have to pre-order it. And then I'll download it. Then we'll have a big, big screen evening with the fellas and just
We'll do some. We'll have
have
some
a
fun.
tournament.
We'll have some fun. Now, we got to get into the ultras. So, more and more news coming out that Juve is working with the ultras to try and mend the relationship and make it essentially a full return. Okay, obviously they'll have to clear the air over some of the freedoms and luxuries that were taken away from the ultras. Hopefully, getting that back. But for me, this is an absolute no-brainer. You can't tell me looking at that Lazio game that did not play a huge part in the squad, the players, and the performance. For me, absolutely it did, and I'll die on that hill fighting it if anybody thinks it doesn't play a part in it. Absolutely it does. This is massive news, and I hope they can come to terms and have a permanent return from the Ultras, and let's get back to the glory days at Allianz Stadium. Omar, anything to add on the Ultras news?
No, no, that's spot on. I mean, it makes me as a fan want to come to the stadium. If I'm putting down money and taking a flight and full weekend, I want to come to a stadium where it's full and cheerful and the team plays for everyone. I've been to a match. It wasn't the same. I've been to the San Siro a day before, and the atmosphere was electric. And Inter were playing. I mean, imagine how I felt sitting among Inter fans watching that, and then going to a Juve game and it's dead silence. So 100%, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Big piece of news there. Again, hopefully getting finalized. Now, we can get to the task at hand. Sassuolo, all right? So, Sassuolo, Juventus today. I said we've got Vlahovic on the verge of making some history. But, again, let's hang tight. Let's hang tight. We'll get there. We'll get there. Sassuolo, one win out of their first four. I believe it was against Hellas Verona. And yeah,
yeah,
I think they
3-1,
lost their first two to Napoli, Atalanta. They
yeah,
got the job done against Verona, and then we saw what happened with Frosinone, Juve's B team.
yeah,
All right, now they're gonna
yeah.
face the A team, baby. All right, but Animesh coming in, time to shut Carnivale up. There you go.
Oh yeah,
Look, Sassuolo. They've got a couple injury problems coming into this one. Consili might actually not be in net. Cranio, who's actually... We know whatever keeper we're going to face, whatever team, he's going to turn into Superman on that
yeah,
given day. We still got to be clinical, get the job done. Outside of that, Agustin Alvarez remains a long-term absentee for Sassuolo. Their probable lineup, it doesn't have any surprises in there other than probably a keeper there, like I mentioned. But... they're going to be hungry based on the start that they've had to this season whenever Juventus comes in. And just the way Juve has been these past few seasons, you get the feeling that Juve is working to reinstill that fear factor. Right, Omar? And you got to think that teams still feel like they could cause us problems because this new shift that we've seen and us as Tifosi have seen in progress, changes to our gameplay, these other teams haven't felt yet. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think that Sassuolo is going to feel good at least and comfortable at least that they're going to be at home in this one. And I think they're going to come out trying to sting Juve at least quickly and at the start. And they might feel they could get a point potentially, if not three, out of this game. Would you feel the same way?
yeah. They're always a fickle bunch away.
Yeah.
I remember it's like when I look at the head to head, and it's almost all Juve. But when I think about it, all I remember are games that disappointing draws and stuff. They did beat us last season. I believe it was away at their home. We beat them in the first round. But they got off to a brutal start, playing Atalanta and Napoli as your first game. So they have nine. They have conceded 9 goals this season and scored five. Pinamonti with 3 goals, Berardi with two, and that's about it. Their defense is shaky as hell. 9 goals in 4 matches is not what we got used to from them. They're like a mid-table team, but now they're 17th, and maybe they would like to. Teams have done it in the past seasons because of Juve's fragile mentality. A good opportunity to bounce back against a big club, and Juve should take advantage of that. Let them be, believe in themselves and drive forward and try to play their game and beat them on the head. Finish it off early. I want 2-0 at halftime. Completely crush the spirit of the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, it's Juve trying to reinstill that fear factor into these teams, and
Have to.
you gotta let them feel it. You gotta let them know. We're gonna get into probable lineup, projected lineup for Sassuolo is gonna be a 4-2-3-1. Cranio, Dolian, Pedersen, Viti, Vigna, Bolocca, Henrique, Berardi, Berami, Laurenti, and Pinamonti, who's actually done well so far to start this season. Berardi is going to be the key piece for them. Make no mistake about it. But Laurenti's an interesting prospect too. So for Juventus, I see this very similar to an approach that should have been taken to Bologna that actually didn't play out as good not in the first half or whatnot, but again, you want to force these teams through the middle. Sassuolo in general, they'll kick things off on the flanks, but then they slowly start to get narrow towards the 18, and then they want to work those quick 1-2s and penetrate the defense there and get in there. So for Juventus, obviously, force them into the middle and try to swarm them and have your midfielders own the pitch and dominate in the middle. So again, slow them up on the outsides, force them through the middle, and make sure your midfield controls the game and takes it away. That's really what you got to do with Sassuolo. If you give them too much space, freedom on the flanks, they'll get comfortable and they'll get into a rhythm.
Yeah, it does play into Juve's benefits, I believe, because we're more stacked in the middle with three defenders and three midfielders, and we're leaner in the wings. But they don't have good wing players. I mean, there is Berardi, but he always had a company player with him, and they have lost a lot of their starting lineup through the following in the past couple of seasons. They lost Locatelli, then Boga, Raspadori, Scamacca. So every year they have to like reinvent themselves. I think it's good for us to face them this early on away
Yeah.
before they figure their shit out.
And like I say, us playing in a 3-5-2 setup versus that 4-2-3-1, it's going to give us the opportunity to do exactly that. Shut down those flanks, force them into the middle, and we'll have the numbers in the middle. We should be able to control this game. As far as, their backline, YFG bringing it up, I was literally, the next point I have on Sassuolo is they are going to allow opportunities. Like, they have been allowing a lot of opportunities to their opponents. Juve's going to get their fair share. Okay, make no mistake about it. As far as Juventus goes, I think it's actually nice that there's not much noise around Juventus. And I love it.
No. When it's quiet, it's very good for Juve.
The negative stuff, Juve is trying to dismiss immediately. So, again, not really getting into much with the whole Ronaldo thing. That's going to pretty much fade away. The Paul Pogba scenario, Juve's been very quiet about it, and you could see they are trying to distance this club, this team, this players from any nonsense. October 5th, we'll wait for that B test with Pogba, but when things are quiet around Juve, that's problems for everybody else.
In regards to Pogba, I've done some reading about the same offense, other athletes using anabolic steroids in football. There is no precedent for 4 year or even a 2 year suspension. I mean,
that's
the
right.
max was 1 year. The rest were like 8 months, and so we'll have to wait on that Pogba thing. I don't believe it will be that easy to just tear his contract apart and send him away.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But I would like to ask you about it. Are we seeing some sort of a trend since the new management came in? Then Giuntoli and Mana took over. They're slowly fixing problems we've been complaining about for a long time.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, like getting rid of everything that has to do with core. The Ronaldo suddenly suing Juve, and then there's no paper, he can't sue them. Distancing Pogba from the squad immediately, talking with the ultras to get them back. Obviously, the first issue was money. That's what the whole summer was about. So, are you seeing some gradual work on long time problems?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We're seeing but I think like in general, now this past summer is literally going to set the precedent for what's to come, and we won't truly see what strategy or how they're going to, like, a true model isn't going to happen till the cleanup's all done. But you're right, of course we see that and change and whatnot, because that's the biggest thing that's had to happen that we keep talking about is the cleanup. And now, this past summer especially, there was a solid commitment to it. And yeah, it's hard to ignore for sure. Now, Sassuolo, we know what was going to happen. Berardi rumors were going to kick back on. Berardi, again, being linked, saying is a viable option in January. Antonio asking, Alberto and Omer, do you see us getting Berardi in the winter mercado? 1 year loan with 20 mil purchase. I don't think so. I don't think
No,
so. I don't see it
no.
happening.
If you were spending in the winter, I doubt it will be Berardi. I doubt they'll spend any at all. I think they're still managing their financials until the end of the
Yeah.
season to see where they finish up. So I don't think they'll make any bets or moves. Um, no, I don't see Sassuolo giving up their obviously best player mid-season again.
Yeah. I don't see it. If they set a deadline that they were so intense with during the summer, according to Carnevale, I just don't see it happening in January. Not only that, I just honestly, I don't think Juve does anything in the winter. I'll be quite honest. I think the books continue to clean themselves. They're going to work on contract extensions. I saw a question asked earlier there. I was going to get to it, but it said essentially where are we at with Chiesa? Well, the interesting thing with Chiesa, I think, is going to be tied to Vlahovic because they're going to be on bigger wages. Chiesa needs to get an increase in pay according to get the extension done. So I think it's going to depend on some of these other extensions and pushing the salary out before they can do anything with Chiesa. That's the hunch I get. That's what it sounds like to me based on everything we're hearing. So I think everything's going to be fine. I think Chiesa is going to want to stay. I think Juve obviously will want him to stay, but I think it could get drawn out because until those other pieces are dealt with, that's when I think we'll get the finalization on Chiesa, and it's going to come down to the salaries. Gatti's is expected to be finished any day now, taking him to 2027 or 2028, but an increase in pay for him, essentially a nice acknowledgement reaching first team status. So
Rugani too was reported recently while we were talking by Mirko Nicolino that his extension is also close to being finalized. And with Sandro out for like a month and a half now, Dean Huysen is part of the team.
yeah, yeah. So Hoysen's going to be in there now and staying. So Yildiz today will be with Juve next gen. Houston, obviously, with what's going on with Sandro, is with first team and will be kept with us. All right, but yeah, I think for Chiesa, don't start to get worried if you're seeing it drawn out, whatnot, because I think, you got Rugani, they're trying to lower. You've got Chesney, they're trying to lower. Vlahovic, they're trying to spread out salary as well. There's a lot that needs to get done before they tackle the Chiesa thing. But I think we will hear that Chiesa and the team have acknowledged that they are going to want to continue together and get it done eventually later on this season. Andrew McCann coming in here saying, we got this today. Let's go. Let's go. There's Storm the Barn questions coming in already. We've got a prediction coming in already from Tony Trim. Let's get to the projected lineup. Let's talk about this a bit before getting into our prediction challenge. And then, of course, Storm the Barn. So, predicted lineup is Chesney, Gatti, Bremer, Danilo. I think that four is going to be locked in. No issues there. McKennie, Miretti, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic, with Chiesa and Vlahovic up top. This, of course, comes to us from Sky Sports. Omar, do you think that is exactly what we are going to get? Which is essentially the exact same that faced Lazio.
Well, stats say no, but logic says yes. I saw the stat this morning. I don't remember it exactly, but I think it's like 112 different lineups in 112 games from Allegri. And
Yeah.
so I know it's hard to bet that would happen, but I think he will play the same lineup. I think it's been working well, and there basically been no injuries except for Sandro's. No reason not to try it again. Oh, we do have a midweek game, and maybe important to know that Sassuolo are playing Inter away midweek. So maybe we'll see a different lineup from them heading up to that match.
Yeah, Lecce is tricky, and obviously Lecce is doing
Yeah,
very, very good to start the season.
but it's
I
a home game.
I expect a couple. It is a home game. I still expect a couple, at least one variation in this particular lineup, and it might be Weah instead of McKennie, and break them up and have kind of like your safe wing back with Kostic and then a bomber there with Weah. And then I think you'll get McKennie against Lecce, and you'll give him a little more time to recover from the knock on the knee. And then Cambiaso on the left against Lecce. I wouldn't be surprised if the wingbacks stay the same, and maybe you get Fagioli instead of Miretti. But I think right now, and we talked about this with Ale from Bianconeri's on our collaboration, I think right now Miretti is ahead of Fagioli in Max Allegri's mind. And
Yeah,
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 Fagioli
and
against Lecce, probably. That'll probably be where
yeah,
we get it.
maybe even instead of Loco.
And that's the
Maybe.
thing too. And again, this goes back to the mains playing in 3-5-2 versus a 4-3-3 setup in simulation of what Sassuolo will kind of play like.
Yeah,
Fagioli as regista, you know, we will get into in a bit here, everybody. But this lineup, even if those changes were to occur, I don't have any problems with it.
no,
Omar,
I
any
don't.
issues?
No, I don't have a problem experimenting with Wea or let's call it go safe with McKennie. No, no issues here.
No
Cambiaso.
problems at
I think
all.
we're talking about the wings mainly. The rest is pretty,
Yeah,
set in stone. It's
yeah.
only the wings.
And we will get to, like I said, Fagioli and Regis and whatnot. I'm going to give you some key stats now that we've got the projected lineups. And then we're going to get into the prediction challenge, everybody. And I see already we had Tony Trim with the 3-0, Vlahovic, Case, and Keane to be a goal scorer. 9 shots on target. YFG coming in here with 4-1 win to Juventus. Miretti and Gatti scoring. And Dusan Brace. All right. Sassuolo have conceded at least 2 goals in 7 of their last 8 matches in Serie A. Okay? Sassuolo have failed to win 9 of their last 10 matches in Serie A. Juventus are undefeated, in their last 5 matches in Serie A. Dusan Vlahovic could become the first Juventus player in 40 years to score 5 goals in 5 opening matches. That's insane. And that's a stellar start to the season. I hope he does it. Is he going to do it? Wait for our predictions, okay? Because here they come. And I'm going to give Omar the courtesy to go first here with your predictions.
Well, first regarding Vlahovic, yeah, it's interesting. We gotta remember he started last season exactly the same. So I do want to see him continue that trend and being better than what he was last season. Because after 4 goals, he kind of stopped and injuries and stuff. I want him to score a hat trick today and just keep it going, keep the confidence up. Um, Predictions. I'm going to say 3-0 Juve.
All right.
Yeah, and I think Dushan gets 1.
Okay.
I, hmm, I believe we'll have a goal from defense. Let's say Gatti.
Okay.
And hopefully Chiesa will add the third one and he'll keep his streak going too. 5 yellows for Juve this match.
5 yellows. Okay. All right. I'm doing a little bit of last minute research. Okay. But what I'm seeing, yeah, they allow so much. Sassuolo allows so much. I'm going to bank in on what I'm going to lay down here. Excuse me. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh man, my kids have been sick.
Mhm.
I've been battling it. You guys, we talked about it in the green room, but the last 2 nights, my girls, sick to their stomachs through the night. Sleep not happening, okay? But apologize for the coughing here. I've been trying to mute the mic on time. Juve's going to win this one. They're going to keep a clean sheet. I believe. I don't think they're going to concede. I'm going to go 2-0. I kind of wanted 3-0, but I got to be different. I don't think we're going to score 4.
Yeah,
Okay, so
because
I
you
can't go
stole my
higher. And I want
3-1
to be different from Omer. So I'm going to go 2-0.
finally.
Vlahovic is going to be a goal scorer. Okay? Hey, I was different from you last week when I nailed it, buddy. Take it easy.
No, you didn't. I
What?
said 3-1, and then you said it right after me.
Buddy,
And
I nailed everything. Come on.
no, you nailed the rest, but I said 3-1 before you did, and now you're trying to take mine again. And it's been going on since last season, so
No, no, no.
get your sh-
No,
get
no.
your shit together,
2
man.
2-0. Vlahovic will be the first player in 40 years to get 5 goals in the opening 5 games. He's going to get one. With the amount of opportunities Sassuolo allows, I am going to tell you right now that Miretti is going to get his goal, his first one, today. It's going to be today. It's going to be against Sassuolo. So I'm going Vlahovic and Miretti 2-0. And another tiebreaker, over under on corner kicks. Juve at 7 corners. Over 7 corners? Under. You're muted.
While you're doing that, I'm trying to find
I'm
the
going,
referee stats.
Juve's going to get more than 7 corners, I think. So I'm going to go with, yeah.
More than 7 corners.
6.5 would be the count, and I'll go over. I'll go over.
That's a huge bit.
That is huge. That one's huge. That's bold. I think
Yeah.
Juve's gonna. I think we're gonna be stomping a mud hole today. But I think as far as the goals and the finishes go, it's gonna be 2-0. Like I said, the predictions are in here. I read a few. We got some more. Paul West coming in 3-0 Juve. Miretti, Dusan Chiesa, another Miretti call on goal. 2-1 Juve from Dom B. We got 2-0 from George with Vlahovic and Bremer. We got James Lapierre coming in here 2-0 Chiesa, Rabiot. Osam there 2-0 Juve, Vlahovic and Rabiot. Red card
Okay.
to Luca in the 70th. No.
Fair. I can't
No.
spare. Okay, I got the referee stats for you if you want to know.
Let's go.
Because, yeah, Ant isn't here and that's his segment, so we got to keep it alive. So it's Andrea Colombo. He's a pretty veteran referee. He's been refereeing in Serie A from 2014-15. He has 192 games in every league in Italy. And 866 yellow cards, 28 red cards throughout his career. That's it.
Huh.
That's like averaging four. I think it's 4 yellow cards per match.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more.
Man.
Which is not crazy for Italy.
After that Lazio game and the yellows, I can't see us getting any more than that game. That was wild. So one-sided too, but it is what it is. We are going to have some fun now. We're going to get to Storm the Barn, Forza Juve. We are going to get this prediction in there because I hope this is what we see. 7-0. Vlahovic, hat-trick. Chiesa, 2. Goals for Bremer, Miretti. Listen,
hope to God.
my Fanta
hope to
Calcio
God.
would be absolutely lit if that's what goes on. So let's get it going. Ants referee corner. LOL. We might have to make it Chipper. He's got a new little nickname since he wants to bail on us to go to Saudi Arabia for all the chips you can eat. So Chipper's referee corner. There, Chipper's corner, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have some fun. The predictions are in. I'm going to remind everybody, hey, please take a second, like the video while you're here. Not only that, I hope to see you all in the live watch along and share the reactions together as I call the action for the game, okay? And I'll be jumping on probably around 25 minutes before kickoff so we can get hyped up together, okay? Now, I know it's early, but who would be the 2 first signings next summer? Mine are Thuram and Scalvini. It's a long time from here to the summer and see kind of what develops, how things develop and shape up for Juventus. Not only that, but who we could potentially be looking to move. The midfield might have Rabiot outgoing. So, Thuram for me, if he's a serious option for Juventus, I would like the signing to get done. That's all I'm going to say. Like, if he is a legit option, I just think there's going to be a lot of teams going in for this guy. And I think the price tag is not what is being rumored. It was already higher end of last season. If he's an option and we have a shot, I would love that. Scalvini is going to be tough to purchase because we're going to get taken over the coals by Atalanta for me. But I'd have no problems with it. But it's very hard to go after two signings for next summer. I still need to see what develops and progresses with certain guys we have here now. Omer?
I mean, those are solid ones, but I believe Scalvini will be the next youngster to receive a bid from the EPL and move out of Italy. Because he's a good player. Like I said earlier when we talked about the Ligt, I don't want a 20-year-old to be one of our main guys in defense. I don't think we have the luxury of trying that because we have seen a lot of these guys like Demiral and stuff. They were just not up for that level. And we took the chance and we took the hits because of that. So if what we have now, the guys we have now are not super old, I mean, we can run with them for one more season. We still have Oysen on the bench. They are looking to renew Rugani. So CB, I'm not sure that's where I'll run to spend my money, even for someone like Scalvini. I think Kostic will be the first one out, so I'd look to strengthen the wings.
I'm thinking he's going to be as well. And we'd have to wait to see if we're going to make a switch, some type of setup switch or whatnot. Not necessarily sold that we're just going to bank on 3-5-2 forever move forward. Scalvini, I actually don't think is going to leave Italy. I think he'll get big offers, but I don't actually see him leaving Italy. That's just me. Thuram, he's going to be up there. For me, if I'm looking at Juventus and everything we know, what we're seeing, numbers are going to be a big thing. And I think Samardzic is going to be more in play and around our wheelhouse at a loan to obligation type deal. I think Thuram is going to... I think he's going to have too many shoppers for Juve, unfortunately.
Yeah, it feels like that, especially if Nice will have like a great season, if they're able to win their league, then
Yeah.
all eyes will be on them, exactly like happened to Lille, and then they just took everyone from them, and that's what usually happens, like Monaco a few years earlier. So I'm actually hoping they'll do bad so we can purchase him with
Yeah.
relatively easily. But if he does have a great season with Nice, it'd be really hard to challenge Liverpool.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, with Kostic potentially being the first one to leave there, like McKennie still has to have a season at this
Yeah,
position for us to really
and
determine what's going to happen. He was still one of the names they were heavily trying to shop. So wing backs, and again, are we staying in that shape? Could be the priority. I'm not against picking
yeah,
up a center back prospect though. Absolutely not
yeah.
against it. I think in midfield we might be all right. So again, we have to wait to see. But
And I
Samardzic,
hate
I
them.
think, is more in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, Samardzic might be a better option. Maybe even in January. If we are looking to bring someone in January, Samardzic is the most logical option. If it's the same deal that was offered to Inter and to Ram, no chance, probably him. And I hate to bring it up, but Deschilio is also in the mix, and we have seen him gone back to training this week, running and stuff. So by the end of the year, he'll be back. He's another player on the roster who might be need to shipped out, takes a spot. So even if we loan McKennie out, I killed you with that. Killed.
The ref's coming in here. Okay, you're gonna get a
Have
yellow
to face
card.
reality.
I lost the yellow card I had here, so Post-it's gonna have to do. But yes, Deschilio, take it easy. Take it easy, okay? Yellow card for Omer. He's on one yellow.
Damn,
Another one
damn.
off
Oh,
today's
maybe
show.
Luca.
Oh, I'm kidding. But we are going to start dishing out yellows around here, okay? Take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah,
Does
Luca
she...
is suspended.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Let's see. Let's get to the next one here. Do you think Peril gets ill against Lecce? If not, do you see Juve selling him next summer? Barely plays, and I realize due to only one competition. I think if he was going to leave, I think he would have already done so, to be honest.
Yeah, he talked about it. I think somewhere close to the end of last season, he had an interview. He said that he doesn't regret it and he'd rather play at Juve here and there, but compete for major titles than try his luck somewhere else and maybe win nothing.
Yeah.
Which I get that. I get why players would like to do that. We always had players that prefer to sit on the bench for Juve than play for Genoa or Cagliari.
Yeah. I think to answer Tony Trim there, I think Penin's going to get the Coppa Italia, and Szczesny will be our Serie A keeper.
Which is earlier this season, by the way. I think it's already in December, not the
Yeah.
usual January game.
Yeah. I think that's how I see the split going down, to be honest. And I don't expect them to sell Penin, to be honest. And Szczesny, and I've been saying this, even with the contract extension, which is really only to accomplish and serve the purpose of lowering the salary, could still be on the move. And
Yeah.
his last interview, I said, super subtle, but as long as Juve will keep me around, and if they will choose to move me, then we will see.
Yeah.
I think I think it's a possibility everybody knows could come. And if they look to move Szczesny, there's teams that something always happens, and a keeper like that would go, it's us getting his salary down, so another team would be more inclined to take up that route, right?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't feel like he's going to be a problem based on what he's saying. Like, if you were telling him, okay, we're going on with Perin or we're bringing in Donnarumma somehow or Carnesecchi, I don't think he'll have any issue leaving. But the goalkeeper debate has been the same for the past 2 seasons. I mean, it's number one, number two. Everyone knows their roles. They're both, I believe, equally good. And each one has some traits that the other doesn't, but still, it's not a bad problem to have. Maybe they'll make him live. They'll like kind of sell him, then bring in like Carnesecchi 1 year as a backup to Perin. Then Perin's contract is over, and the guy takes their in. That's a reasonable course.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it going down that way as well. Juventus official fan club, Vancouver, watch party on the drive today. Again, you guys, if you've got these great official fan clubs in your neck of the woods, make sure you join up. What's better than tuning in, watching the beloved old lady with other Juventini? There's nothing better. I was planning on being there today. Unfortunately, my wife had made some commitments for us that take place shortly after the game. And had to bail. And then I ended up getting, under the weather midweek, and that's not helping things. So hope you guys have a great watch party. I know it's going to be an amazing watch party. This game, I'm excited. I'm always excited when Juve plays, but this one, let's get those next set of 3 points. Look for Lecce, okay, on the quick turnaround on Tuesday. But key players in this one, way too early to predict. Man of the match for you, Omer. Michael Rasso, come
on. Let's go with Vlahovic.
Dusan from Omer, and right on cue, Tony Trim saying Dusan as well. Let's go. Dusan Vlahovic, man of the match. Alex P. out of nowhere today. Hey, let's go, brother. Fagioli. All right.
I'll have to do a lot in 30 minutes.
Maybe he thinks he's going to start him, and that could be one of the changes. Maybe Max will have a little surprise. RB Cobb says, Daddy Dusan. Dusan, man of the match, eh? Federico Chiesa today.
Easy
Chiesa.
pick. Easy
I'm,
choice.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
put today's man of the match as Locatelli.
Okay.
I'm gonna go.
Continuing its form from the past 2 weeks.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I think he's gonna have one of the goal contributions. I think he's gonna get an apple on one of them, probably to Dushan, and there we go. There we go.
Okay. Cool.
Before we sign off, I said we would talk about Fagioli right on cue. Out of nowhere. Not sure what was going on. We missed you today, brother. But he comes in with Fagioli man of the match. I said we would talk about Fagioli as a regista. The number one thing I was reading as to why people would be against it was due to his size. I actually have zero fears about the size playing a part in this. I actually think Fagioli could play anywhere in the middle, whether it be an attacking mid, whether it be a box to box, whether it be regista. I think he could play anywhere in there. I have no problems if we try to use Fagioli as an alternative to Locatelli. I think sometimes we become accustomed to what we see at our own club, and we believe that that's the only way. And I think that's what goes on when we look at a guy like Locatelli and then try to wrap our heads around Fagioli playing there. I think he could do it. It would be different, much, much different than having Loca in there. But I think he could do it. I think you would have to look at almost making it a little bit help defensively and keeping one of those other two mids back and really unleashing a third guy as an attacking mid, almost like a pivot. But I have no doubts Fagioli can do it. And size doesn't really concern me in that role. And history has kind of set that precedent for me based on other
Oh,
players
come on.
I've seen play there. So, Omar, what do you think?
Yeah. Come on. How big was Modric? Is Modric? Joshua Kimmich. I mean, I'm talking about the current ones. I get the physicality aspect and it's important, but it's not a must if he does his job correct.
Yes.
Pirlo wasn't a physical guy at all.
No.
No sprints, no aerial battle, no nothing. So size doesn't really concern me. I've said it a couple of times in the last podcasts that I don't think Rabi or Fagioli Miretti in that setup is a good mix. And we need to have an attacker there, so I don't see Fagioli playing as that attacker. From what I've seen so far, it may become one. But at that age, I mean, they're still moldable. You can still mold them into new positions in midfield and stuff. Look at McKennie suddenly thriving at right back, right wing back. I mean, it can happen. I would like to see him there. I'm kind of concerned after Rovella left that we don't have a natural replacement for Locatelli. And if you want to start working with someone, my suggestion would be Fagioli, based on what we've seen from the other guys in midfield too.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Aldo says I have no problem with his physical or technical traits. It's his fragile mentality, like when he gave up the goal last year and cried. High pressure at Regista. How do you feel about that one?
It's kind of hard to blame anyone for stuff that happened last season. I mean, all the players were on the brink. I think it's kind of natural that the young guys would break up first. But everyone had a rough patch, and then they're losing a game because of you, the club you love. I mean, it's a tough feeling. So maybe he's a bit fragile mentally, but because he's still a youngster, maybe not a kid, but still they need to develop rough skin out of those type of matches. That's how you get better at it. So I'm not concerned about it, but it is something that needs to improve for him.
Yeah. Alex P bringing up his personal preference is to have Fajoli behind the attack. That is my personal preference as well. But I'm going to also say this. Out of all the guys, if you do have to have a change up to Locatelli, Fagioli's my first pick.
Yeah, I Miretti, hard no. Nicolosi, I haven't seen him play that role. or anything.
I'm intrigued by Hans Nicolucci
Yeah,
at playing that role. I've only seen it in preseason though. I'm intrigued by it, but Fagioli's my first pick there.
yeah, because there's a lot more to work with. You know what you have to work with. You know what he's good at and what he's not. So he suits that role to some degree.
Yeah,
I
there you
may
go.
even bring up Rabio, but I don't think anyone could run as much as him up and down. So you gotta have him.
Michael Razzo, if Meretti scores today, and I called a Meretti goal today, it's going to be against Sassuolo. He's going to buy his jersey. We're going to hold you to that, brother, because I believe he's going to get it. Storm the Barn, again, last call for any questions you want coming in. I'm going to leave this one open for Omer right now. Is there anything we didn't get to that you want to discuss and tackle before we sign off? And then I'll be back in an hour and a half, essentially, getting ready for the kickoff.
So do I have anything? Not much really. It's been a relatively quiet week for Juve, which is good. I mean, Milan are playing right now. They're leading against Verona. The match was actually postponed because of heavy rain, so we might have rain in Turin too, which was very difficult for Juve against Bologna when it was raining. So it'll be a good test as well. But overall, the feelings around the club are a bit better, and they're improving week by week. And everything, I mean, from every angle, not only the way the team plays, but from all around Juve.
Yeah.
Injury status, cleaning up stuff, money wise, youngsters do get chances to play. Players are performing. We may have Chiesa and Dushan like we wanted them, like we wanted to have them. And finally, so I'm overall positive. I got these three kick-ass shirts, so I wanted to share with you. This is one, no Pirlo, no party. And the second one, look at this beauty.
Nice.
Come on, that's golden. And last but not least, this guy.
Have no idea how these guys are doing it and getting around copyright, but those are beauties.
Yeah, it's those are illustrations from a book, and the book kind of tallies up the top 50 players from 94 until now. So kind of our generation. After that Baggio penalty, cut the line, Zidane, and all of those guys. So it's here. I mean, based off a book. It's those are illustrations that are different. So I don't know if they have to comply with anything. So as long as they can do it, they have a great collection of historical events, the Materazzi headbutt and stuff, and you can print it all on the shirt. They all look amazing. I'm gonna order like 3, 4 more.
Nice, nice. And Tony, much appreciated, brother, for the support. Striped Hearts, there's about 4 new designs coming out probably early next week. All right, so way more designs, but everybody's loving the Buffon tribute and everything. Obviously, ode to Superman and everything. We keep them rolling. We keep them rolling. Thank you to everybody who supported in that manner. There's a bunch of orders put through this week. Guys, it means a lot. We always appreciate the support around here. And it goes a long, long way. So that's one way. The easiest way, sharing the content, everybody. Liking the videos, commenting. All goes a long way, helping with the algorithm. We are wrapping up, signing off. Like I said, I'll be back in about an hour and a half, getting ready for kickoff. I hope to see you all here for the watch along. Let's share in the reactions in what I think is going to be another solid 3 points for Juventus. Can Vlahovic be the first Juve player in 40 years to bag 5 in the opening 5? I hope so, all right? But I hope to see you all. Omer, thank you again, as always. Always a pleasure, brother. And everybody, hey, go do what you got to do. Whatever pregame rituals you have, okay, superstitions, go get it out of the way in an hour and a half. Let's meet up again, all right? As always, no matter what, fino alla fine, forza Juve, Sassuolo, you're next. You're next. Take care, everybody. We'll talk real soon. Ciao.
Yeah.